I have the Specialist Operations portfolio for Greater Glasgow Division, which ultimately has the responsibility for ensuring all the football matches and large-scale events are appropriately policed as and when they occur. So, as regards the role of the police in a football stadium, it's a popular misconception that the police are in charge of that event. Partly our own fault, as we've labelled ourselves the match commander when we've done our social media in the past. However, it's important for fans to realise that we're not in charge. The football safety officer for the club concerned is the person in charge, and we're there in a capacity to assist them to deliver a safe event. Now, we have very specific roles when we're there. Any criminality, clearly we would have the authority to go and deal with that. But primarily safety and the safe running of the event sits with the club and the club safety officer. The only time that would change is if an incident occurred where it fell out with the scope of the safety officer, and probably the best recent example of that would be the 2016 Scottish Cup final when the pitch invasion occurred. Very quickly, the safety officer at Hampden Park realised that was there beyond his scope. So he signed over primacy. Now that's a legal document where he is signing over being in charge of the event to the senior police officer in the stadium. And it's only at that point would the police be seen to be in charge of the event, and from that point on. Relations with football fans have clearly deteriorated over recent years, and that was picked up by DCC Roberts in his review of policing of football in Scotland at the turn of the year. In order to try and rebuild the trust between fan groups and get that engagement better, we're looking at a number of ways to better engage with fans. From a Glasgow context, and this will be replicated across the country, we are engaging with recognised fan groups from football clubs. We meet with them regularly. We discuss with them the issues that they want to bring to us, and we also explain to them the role of the police and why we take certain actions at football stadia, which they might not understand at the time, why it's necessary, but we put forward that explanation so they've got a far better understanding of what to expect from the police when we're at a football match. We've also recognised that in the past, prior to a big football match, and I would probably highlight the Old Firm games, the cup finals and semi-finals, police social media was very much about don't do this, don't do that, don't bring alcohol, don't bring flares, don't get drunk. And it's all very negative. Now, again, this was picked up by DCC Roberts. So our social media and indeed our media plans moving forward are to move away from that. So what we will now start doing in the social media aspect is giving fans information that will assist them get to the stadium and have a more enjoyable day, rather than focusing on the negative aspects, which a very, very small minority of football fans would take part in. Flares is a phenomenon that seems to be growing in recent years. Personally, I have no doubt that it's only a matter of time before a football fan is either seriously injured or, worst case, killed by a flare. We've seen it in South America, where a fan's been killed by a flare. And I think for many fans who use flares, they don't realise the danger. Flares are designed to burn at thousands of degrees centigrade. Many of the flares we're finding at football matches are marine flares, which will burn underwater. So water won't extinguish them, sand won't extinguish them. And if it were to fall against your skin, it would give you a very serious burn. Smoke, similarly, whilst not as dangerous as regards the heat, a lot of the smoke canisters that are coming into the country, we've no idea where they've came from. There's no testing of them. Many of them could be carcinogenic. So if you're in the fan group and somebody lets off that smoke emitting device and you're breathing the fumes and the particles in, whilst it might not give an immediate danger, who's to say that in 10, 20 years' time, that might be something that could end up in some sort of lung cancer. So both flares and smoke are a real concern for us. One of the things with flares, and there is a big move in football authorities to stamp out flares and all sorts of pyrotechnics by use by fans. We do have to, however, recognise that there is a mixed message when the football authorities at their cup finals may use pyrotechnics in the stadium when it comes to the presentation of the trophy. So there's maybe a thought for the football authorities to think about the use of pyrotechnics, however safe that may be in the context they're using them, the messaging that might put out towards football fans. Sectarian singing is a massive issue for football fans across Scotland. And it's probably been identified in the Supporters Direct Own survey where 85% of respondents said they had witnessed sectarian singing and a significant proportion had been victims of it. It's notoriously difficult to deal with in the stadium when a group of fans start singing a sectarian song. We have to very quickly identify who they are and see if it's safe and feasible to arrest them at that time or to conduct an after-match inquiry when we'll hope to identify those responsible. There's lots of work being carried out by the football clubs, the SFA, the SPFL, to curb and stamp out sectarianism, but it's clearly something that we've been dealing with for a number of years. Certainly for the duration of my police career, it's been an issue, and it's something that is a blight on football, and it's disappointing for the fans, the vast majority of fans who don't engage in it, because they're lumped together. If you support a particular club and sectarian singing starts, then it is looked on that every fan's responsible, when clearly that's not the case. So there is a part to be played for the fans themselves to assist the clubs and the police in stamping out sectarian singing, which hopefully in the fullness of time will be something that will disappear from Scottish football. Certainly the media reporting on football is something that we have to look at from their view. They want to sell newspapers and they print what sells. But clearly from a policing point of view and a football point of view, it does tend to be the front pages are the negative. And post any big football match, probably the first questions we'll be asked by the media are the number of arrests. Now we'll give that information out, and generally in football matches a very small number. In most games you're talking single figures. And if that single figure number of arrests in a match where 60,000 fans have turned up, it's not a particularly huge issue. But it is something that the media will print and they'll look to report on. So it's something that football clubs, the football authorities and the media outlets themselves have to look and see, is there a narrative they want to look at, not always focusing on the negative, but actually try and print some of the real positives. And for the most part, the positive stuff goes in the back pages when it's all around about the football, but the front page headlines will tend to be the negative. And I'm not going to criticise media outlets for that. That's clearly what they find sells their newspapers and their lead news items. But it is something I absolutely understand the disgruntlement with football fans when that is what's getting reported in front pages rather than the good that all the rest of the fans have taken part in a good day.